Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Welcome to VeteransAir, the Veterans Hour, your source for news, talk, and uncensored commentary here on Conroe's Lone Star. yeah, I had a blank spot. Here on Lone Star Community Radio. Today's a special show. It's not our normal show that you can hear live the first Tuesday of every month at 1. This is our September 11th show. And I've been doing this show for years now with very little change. And this is not going to be any different. Today is September 11th. It's the 23rd anniversary of the attack on America. It's, for me, this day holds very deep meaning. And we're going to talk about that today. This isn't going to be a show of facts and figures. This is going to be a show about September 11th and how it changed the fabric of reality for Americans. By a joint resolution approved December 18th, 2001, Public Law 107-50-89, Congress authorized the President to designate September 11th of each year as Patriot Day, to perpetuate the memory of those who perished in the attack on America and to pursue peace and justice in the world and security here at home. Thank you for joining us to remember. In 1976, Billy Joel wrote a song entitled Miami 2017. It was about the destruction of New York City. I'm sure that when he wrote the song, he didn't think it was going to be a prophecy. The last verse of that song reads, "There are not many who remember. They say a handful still survive, to tell the world about the way the lights went out and keep the memory alive." There are some events in history that define Americans. Everyone remembers where they were when Kennedy was shot. Everyone remembers what they were doing when they heard Elvis died. Everyone remembers who they were with when John Lennon was shot in the back on a New York street. And everyone remembers who they were on September 11th, 2001. Allow me to tell you who I was on 9/11. It's been 23 years since that morning. A morning burned into my memory in such a way I can never forget what I saw. What I felt and still feel today are feelings I never had before. On the morning of 9/11, I was a high-priced business consultant delivering a pitch to board members in a downtown Houston high-rise. When the first plane, Flight 11, at 8:47 a.m. Eastern, struck the World Trade Center North Tower, it was but a tragic accident. 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. And I knew America was under attack. As implausible as it seemed at the time, someone had just attacked the United States. I watched in horror, paralyzed by the very thought that the United States could be attacked in this manner. It was time that I contact Colonel Omfroy at the Pentagon to find out what was going on and if that proverbial balloon had finally gone up. As I'm navigating my way through the intricacies of the Pentagon switchboard, 30 minutes after I just watched on live TV Flight 175 slam into the South Tower, the line went dead. I ran back to the conference room to turn up the volume on the TV, just as America was being informed that the Pentagon was also hit and to stand by for video. At 9:37 a.m. Eastern, Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon. The Pentagon? Attacked? That's just not possible. But it was, and as the reports came in, the full impact of what was happening hit me. We were at war, and I had just lost Amph and Wendy Sue at the same time. God, I can't lose both of them. Okay, I admit it. I flipped over into what my wife calls my Ranger mode, and what those who have served with me call my combat operations mode. Follow the steps. Step 1, secure the AO. Okay, I'm in a downtown Houston at a client's office on the 6th floor. The AO is filled with civilians, unsecurable, and I'm not too sure about the loyalty of some of these people. The situation is fluid, and I can't evac. Okay. Assess the current situation and determine possible internal threats, avenues of attack, threat vectors. Protect the non-combatants. Step 2. Determine remaining assets. I call home and read Patreon on what's happening and have her get her daughter from school. I look to the 2 other veterans with me and Tim, one badass prepper, for support. Step 3, find your battle buddy. I call brother Johnny. He was already on standby reporting to his unit. We said our goodbyes, just in case. Stay safe and stay vigilant. To Valhalla, brother. I tried over and over again to get hold of Amph and Wendy Sue, but all the lines were jammed. I called her husband, but no luck getting through there. I'm starting to lose it at this point. I'm starting to lose it because Wendy Sue worked in the Pentagon on the corridor that was hit. Step 4, gather intel. Intel. Damn it, I need intel. Where the hell are my battle captains, and why are they not on the net reporting to the TOC? And where is my RTO? Breathe. Breathe. You are not Dragon 6 Actual. Civilians have no idea what battle captains, TOCs, or RTOs are. And even if they did, they wouldn't give them to you. You are an old, out of shape, disabled veteran running around being a business consultant with a ponytail. Wait, what? I grew a ponytail? Step 5, sit rep. No matter what channel you're watching, the news and the information is the same. The FAA has grounded all air traffic over the skies of the United States. The President is on Air Force One. The Air Force has scrambled jets, and the Navy is sending a missile cruiser to New York City. Okay, this is good. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better. But now I'm mad. They attacked us. You do know we're about to make them crawl back into that hole that they were born in and pray for death. At the time, it had only been 9 years since I last wore the uniform. I can go back. I can do my duty again. Sadly, no, said the local recruiter. He was all apologetic, but basically he said if the USA needed an old, broken-down NBC NCO, they'd give me a call. Until then, go home. Step 6. Prepare to shoot, move, and communicate. Watch the news, call Colonel Omph, call Wendy Sue. I got home and repeated the process of watching and calling. I held my wife and my daughter. I didn't want to let them out of my sight. I made sure my .38 and 9mm were clean, locked, and loaded, that we had food, water, and vehicles gassed. It was then that I realized I wasn't honoring my oath. I was unprepared, and I swore never again. For 3 days, I was a wreck. I went from pursuing war to the depths of inconsolability. I had lost Colonel Omfroy and Wendy Sue, 2 people I served with. Colonel Omph was my mentor, my friend, my first commander, the godfather of my daughter. Wendy Sue, she was my oldest and dearest friend and confidant. She was the one person I told everything to. They weren't friends, and they were more than family. God, please, I prayed, please. I can't have lost them both. Someone took them from me and put Brother Johnny back in harm's way. I will avenge them, I swore to myself. It was 3 days in hell before I finally got the calls from Omph and Wendy Sue. Wendy Sue was across the highway from the Pentagon that morning in the Navy Annex when it happened, and they naturally sequestered everybody for 3 days. The Omph, well, his whereabouts have always been on a need-to-know basis, and he was out of pocket during the attacks. As I've said, it's now been 23 years since that day, and a lot in America has changed. We have wars in countries that politicians do not have the stomach or can't win. We have veterans coming back from these wars, shattered and broken in body and mind. We have talking heads and politicians telling us, it's all okay, just open your hearts and minds. Islam is a religion of peace and love. Illegal aliens have more rights than American citizens. And if you are a patriotic American and proud of it, you are a threat to the state. You all can do as you wish and believe what you wish. But for me, I will not forget the 2,753 people, nor the 343 firemen who died that day, or the awful anguish I felt when I thought I lost people that I love. I will not forget the men and women of the New York Fire Department and the New York Police Department that went back into the burning hell that were the Twin Towers, that were the twin Towers, to save as many as they could. I will not forget the sight of men and women leaping from the 99th floor of the World Trade Center, choosing instant death over being roasted alive. I will not forget the mayor of New York City holding the city together by the sheer force of his will while he evacuated South Manhattan. I will not forget the way the nation was brought to its knees. I will not forget seeing the mighty skyline fall. I will not forget the impact upon me while visiting the site years later. They were still clearing debris to build the new tower. I will not forget the sight of the roses I tossed into that pit. The way they tumbled and fell reminded me of the people leaping from the Twin Towers themselves. So yes, sorry, I get a little choked up. So yes, you do as you will, and I'll do as I have done that day. I will never forget. I will never forgive. It was 9/11 that made me the way I am today. It was 9/11 that forged my will to do for my fellow veterans and render support for first responders. I will continue to serve my fellow veterans to the best of my abilities. I will continue to be a champion for immigrants who come to America by the front door and want to be Americans and not create enclaves of their former countries. I will continue to honor our police, our firemen, and our first responders. America, you swore you would never forget, but you have. You have welcomed caravans of illegal aliens to our shores without vetting them. You've elected Islam to our government that stand in the halls of Congress and preach death and hate for America. In the name of political correctness, you have allowed godlessness, deviance, and perversion to rule our society. You preach the virtues of socialism to our children and hate for American values. If you stand against America, if you stand or sympathize with those that would do harm or destroy the American way of life, then let this serve as your warning. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. I bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I'm going to keep my oath alive. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my story today. There are not many who remember. They say a handful still survive to tell the world about the way the lights went out and keep the memory alive. I want you to pick up your coffee cup or whatever beverage you have close to hand and join me in a traditional three-pointed toast. Raise your glass, veterans, for we honor our fallen. Many times down through the years, our country has called, and many men and women have answered that call. Let us not forget our fallen comrades. Let us honor them always, for they have earned our respect and admiration with their lives. To our fallen comrades, raise a glass to those who think of others in danger before themselves. For our police, firemen, and first responders who risk their safety and lives for me, my family, my neighbors, and my friends. to our first responders. Raise your glass for the United States of America. I have fought for her, bled for her, and I'm willing to die protecting her freedoms and liberties. To the United States of America. You've been listening to Veterans Air on our September 11th salute, and I thank you for joining me today. I hope my story resonates with some of you listening today. It's an important story. I hope that you teach our future generations what happened on September 11th and why it's important that we remember. Please feel free to join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. at VFW 4709. We'll be having a light dinner at 6 and a ceremony at 6:30. It's open to the public. It's child-friendly. Please come join us. Thank you for remembering. And until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.